on, everybody? Thank you so much for stopping by the podcast on this lovely Saturday night. I'm so happy that you guys were able to join us today for the first special edition episode of Freshman Class, featuring some of the new up-and-comers in the lawn community that have certainly made a splash on the scene this year. Today, we're bringing you none other than Socal Lawn and Order and Pacific Northwest Lawns, hailing from over there in Washington. Not only that, we also got a special surprise guest today, Ben the Lawn Guardian, repping the YouTube channel The Lawn Guardian and his podcast, The Average Joe Lawn Care Show. Guys, I want to welcome you guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. What's going on, guys?
What's up, George?
What's going on? Guys, I just want to say thank you so much for joining. Before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to a few people in the live stream. Oh, we got a full house tonight. What's going on, everybody? Super TA, Grace Ortiz, Pacific Northwest Lawns. What's up, buddy? Long time no talk. Who else we got? Papa Mo's Low, Sunny Bermuda, Lawn Journeys, Striper Man. What's going on, Striper Man? How you feeling, buddy? Papa Mo's Low, Lawn Guardian, Elevated Lawnscapes, Bermuda Brian. What's going on, Bermuda Brian? I just got your sticker, buddy. Thank you so much for sending it out. Super TA said he's a freshman. All right, so today, like I said, we got some of the new guys here in the podcast as guests. They've certainly made a splash on the scene. Let's get to know them a little bit more. Nate, can you tell me a little bit about, or can you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and your channel?
Yeah, so my name's Nathan. I live in Southwest Washington, about 20 miles north of Portland, Oregon. Everybody seems to think I'm from the Seattle area. It's about 3 hours south of Seattle. I moved here from the Los Angeles area probably 16 years ago. And I love it here. Real green. I love being out in the mountains and outside, so it's absolutely awesome here.
Yeah, it sounds like you kind of got the best of both worlds, you know, like you have like the mountainous areas, plus it's always raining over there. It's not really dry. So, I mean, that seems like the perfect place to live.
It literally rains here on average 200 days out of the year.
I know, man. I've seen the Twilight movies. So, Christian, how about you, bud? Let's get to know you a little bit. So, Socal Lawn and Order, I'm guessing you live somewhere in California?
I do. My name's Chris. I live in Southern California. I live in Murrieta. It's kind of in between Los Angeles and San Diego. I've been here since 1995. Left the Marine Corps, stayed out here. Got into law enforcement. I've been doing that for 19 years, and here I am, getting ready to retire and take on my next venture here soon.
Ooh, man, we got a cop on the live stream. Better watch out. No. So you're a cop, huh, man? How long you been a police officer?
I'm going on 19 years right now.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
Nice,
so I got about another year to go. I can retire.
Yeah, and you're probably in that level 1 pension too, right? Because you've been there so long.
Oh yeah.
Nice, man. You're gonna have a good retirement, man. And thank you for your service. You know, as a police officer. I mean, especially this day and age, man. You know, I'm sure some people don't hear it as much as you guys should. You know, so thank you so much, bud.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, and then Ben, the Lawn Guardian. We got a seasoned vet over here coming on the show. Ben, first of all, I got to say I'm a huge fan of yours. I'm always watching your channel, all the new products and things that you're showing. And I know you're a Honda man just like me. You know, we're Honda brothers. I know you love your Honda lawnmowers. You also got a podcast called Average Joe Lawn Care Show. So if you guys want to see Ben over here doing his live streams, he's been stepping up to the plate this season and putting out some good content too. Ben, any of my viewers that are watching, can you let them know a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, it's funny you call me a seasoned vet because I feel like I'm just as much of a rookie as everyone else here tonight. But I'm out in St. Louis, Missouri. I started my YouTube channel, I guess it was in 2018, something around there. I just have fun. I try to just show people what I do. You know, I don't do anything I feel like it's just, just another person to give a different perspective as far as lawn care and stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. Like I said, I'm out in the St. Louis, Missouri area. I just moved into a new house a little over a year ago. Had some trials over this last year and looking to just keep learning this year and hopefully making the lawn look even better and having a good time.
Ben, I know you always say this in your podcast. You like to take a laid back and relaxed approach to lawn care, and I really admire that, man, because I feel like sometimes us as creators, we kind of try to live life on the edge and just try to do too much at one time. But I mean, I want to congratulate you on your success as a YouTuber, because you've had some success over the last few years and you built up a following, and it seems like, you definitely know what you're doing, bud. So, yeah, man, that's an awesome approach you take.
Well, I appreciate that. I think it's I don't know if I think I say that, and I think I say it to remind myself sometimes, because sometimes I try to be too perfect, or I'm a perfectionist by nature. So I try to do too much at one time, and I try to make things look better than I actually have time to do. So then I end up, biting that in the butt, especially with 3 kids and a family and all that kind of stuff. So I shouldn't be probably paying as much attention as I do, but it's an outlet, like I think it is for everybody else here tonight.
Yeah, I think we've said this in the past. It kind of comes with the whole like lawn care addict personality. We're just kind of like perfectionists by nature. We tend to have OCD tendencies, and we always want everything perfect and the best it can be, and sometimes, like you said, I mean, that's a good thing, but it can also come back to bite us in the butt, like you said.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Real quick, I do want to jump to the comments and give a few shout outs to a couple of the guys that are over here in the comments. Around the House with Pat, what's going on, buddy? Lawn Beast, what's going on? How you feeling, buddy? Thank you so much for joining. Andy's Outdoor and Lawn and Adventures. Thank you so much for stopping by, Andy. I was talking to him earlier in the chat. He's in the Chicagoland area just like me, and literally as we speak, we got about a foot of snow coming down and pounding us. So he knows the struggle over there, Andy. What's up, Ron? How you feeling, buddy? What's going on? Thanks for stopping by, Ron. Let's see who we got. All right. So the whole point of this podcast, to be honest, is to kind of gather with some of the newer creators that are in the community. And, I know I'm not a big YouTuber, but hopefully try to, show some of the audience, that there's more talent out there. And if you guys haven't seen Nate or Christian, you guys should definitely check out their channels. I have both of their channels linked down in the description. So, Nate, what do you tell me about like your hobbies and things like that?
So kind of like what I was saying earlier, I like doing outdoors things. So going from the big city to moving up here, I've been able to do a lot more fishing, camping. I do big game hunting. Do occasionally hiking. I'm getting a little old for that. And then for about 3 years, I had that mud truck that I had a lot of fun with, but that got kind of be an expensive hobby.
Yeah, just like lawn care, man, it could be expensive too. You told me you had like a 3-foot lift on that truck or something like that?
So that truck, it was a 1979 Chevy square body, and it actually had 15 inches of lift on it.
Oh my God.
And 44-inch tires. So I'm 6'3", and I almost needed a ladder to get in it.
Dude, I totally believe you, because I have a Lexus right now, SUV, and I'm thinking about putting a 3-inch lift on it. And, 3 inches doesn't sound like a lot, but when you lift a car up 3 inches, that is a lot, definitely. So I can't even imagine 15 inches on your truck, how high it could be.
So imagine 15 inches and then putting 44-inch tall tires on it.
Oh my God. That's crazy. Hey, I do want to give a special shout out to Super TA. Thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. I really appreciate it. He said, Striper Man is the reason for my madness. You're not the only one, Super TA. I think Striper Man was a big influence on all of us influencers. So thank you, Striper Man, and thank you, Super TA, definitely. But yeah. And then Christian, what do you like to do for fun, in the off season and things like that?
I really don't have an off season here in California. We can go pretty much all year round. We get like maybe 1 month out of the year that we got to slow things down. But my hobby is the lawn. That's what I do. Try and get as much done as I can out there. And I got a small little lawn business that I take care of a few lawns and treat them. So on my days off, I'm out there mowing lawns and trying to make other people's yards look as good as mine.
So you got right now you have a KBG lawn and it's thriving right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so what I did was I actually share like a little 200 square foot area with my neighbor. So I took over the area and I planted a GCI blue heat over there this year. So my plan is to kind of see if how well it will thrive in California for the summertime heat, and fingers crossed it goes well because I can smoke out my front yard and go all Kentucky out there because I'm really loving that color.
So the blue heat, I'm not 100% familiar with Pete's grass seed too much. The blue heat, is that tall fescue and KBG or just KBG?
Just KBG.
Oh, okay. Do you know what
the
type
full
of
blue?
Do you know what kind?
Off the top of my head, I just remember there's one that the Appalachian's in there, and I can't remember the other two off the top of my head.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, and I know over there, and this has always bamboozled me, to be honest with you. I know over there in California, you guys are so down south. I mean, you're like damn near the border of Mexico. How is that considered the transition zone? Because I know it is considered the transition zone. I thought everything south of a specific point was a transition zone, although I do see the map and I see there's a curve to it. But isn't it too hot down there to grow cool season grass year long?
Believe it or not, it's not. If you know how to do it right, which I learned over the years, so in our summertime heat, when we get up to like 105, 106, I'll do a couple purges throughout the day. So on my regular watering days, I'll do 3 days a week, and then I purge about 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon to kind of keep the soil temperatures cool. And the good thing for me is I'm lucky that my wife is kind of knows what to look for. So I'll get that text when I'm at work and she'll say, hey, it looks like the blades are curling. So I'll just throw the system on a little bit and cool it off.
Oh, man, dude, you got your grass got its own private security, it sounds like.
Yeah, she still calls me a nerd, though.
Hey, dude, I think we're all nerds, man, but I wouldn't want to have it any other way. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Dude, Ben, you're always on your podcast and you're always talking to everybody about themselves, but I rarely ever hear about you. Who is Ben the Lawn Guardian? Can you tell me a little bit?
Well, I started the channel a couple years ago, and I really started it as an outlet. That was during a pretty rough patch of my life because I was in the midst of trying to transition out of a career that was just having a really negative impact on my life and my family. I was in the athletic training profession, and I was at the point of that profession that I thought I wanted to be at. I was in a clinic, regular 8 to 5 hour or 8 to 5, normal hours. I was working normal hours, but it just didn't end up being what I wanted to do. And it was just adding a lot of stress to my life and my family. And lawn care has always been a love of my life. I've done it a lot. I did it a lot with my mom. There's a lot of great memories I have with my mom with it. And when we bought our house, I was obviously taking care of my lawn, but I had a lot to learn. I didn't know anything about fertilizing, putting fungicides or anything like that down on the lawn. So I was learning a lot, and I actually had to partially renovate the lawn I had at the time. And that's when I started YouTubing, things to learn, to figure out what I needed to do. I don't know if you guys watch This Old House at all. I really like that show. I watched a lot of Roger Cook.
Oh, Roger Cook.
And that was, then I found Alan and learned a lot from him. And that by the time I started like diving into all that stuff, then I just kept watching more and more. And I found, Ryan Knorr, Matt Martin, Jake the Lawn Kid. Those were some of the original guys I remember starting to follow. Connor Ward, but those other guys were the ones I was kind of learning a lot from. And I was like, well, these, all that stuff really inspired me to start the my own channel, because I was like, well, maybe I can add a different perspective. I didn't want to try to copy anybody, and even though it may seem like we all kind of copy one another to an extent, but I wanted to just maybe make content and make videos, and I never edited any videos prior to starting the channel, and I ended up really liking it, and yeah, the rest is history. And that was the other thing that was kind of the big thing that I did, was I had that big fundraiser that involved several of the bigger YouTubers when I was just starting out, and that was really cool because I actually had that idea, and I told my wife, and she was like, well, why don't you just reach out to him? She's like, well, what's the harm of doing that? Because I really honestly did not think anybody was going to respond back. And in case anybody doesn't know, there was a fundraiser I did a couple years ago called it was for Rodney Smith Jr. It was calling Changing the World One Mo at a Time. And I reached out to, there was a ton of people. And within a day after sending that email, I had everybody responded back. They're like, hey, I'm game. I'm on board. And I'm like, wow, this was something that I was like, I did not think. I thought if anybody responded, I figured there'd be like maybe 3 or 4, but it was pretty much everybody I reached out to responded back, and they were like, yeah, I'm game. Let's do this. So that was another thing that was one of the original things I did on my channel. And yeah, and ever since then, I actually started doing some work with Alan. After that, I started to do some contract work with him. And not many people know this, but I actually work part-time for Yard Mastery.
Oh, cool.
So,
I couldn't tell by your hat. No, I'm just kidding.
you gotta rep the brand.
No, yeah. Hey, man. Branding. It's all about the branding. No, yeah, that's totally cool, dude. I know that you said that, you were having issues with your job where you were. If you don't mind me asking, what was it, sales related?
No. So athletic
because
training,
for me, it was.
Yeah, no. So I was seeing patients. I was seeing they could be people that tore their ACL. They could be athletes that tore their ACL. There could be, their weekend warrior that did some. It can be operative patients, or it can be non-op patients that just need therapy. I was doing that kind of stuff in the clinic, doing rehab and therapy with them. And I initially started out with that job. I was working at a hospital here called Mercy. I was at a high school covering sporting events and those types of things. And so that's more of what I was doing. When I left, I was actually in the clinic.
Oh, okay, cool. Real quick, I'm gonna jump to the comments. There's a couple people that showed up. I want to give a shout out to. What's up, Oldie? How you feeling, buddy? Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm Scott. Oh, we got Ian in the building. What's up, Ian? Thank you so much for stopping by, bud. I love those stunner shades you're always rocking in your pictures, man. Looking like a narco in your car, dude. I love that, dude. I'll tell you, man. Dude, this guy, he be stunting on Instagram for real, dude. He got not only does he have the nicest sunglasses, he got the nicest lawn, St. Augustine lawn at least, for sure. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Scott O'Hare. Thank you so much for stopping by, Scott. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you guys all for stopping by. But yeah, thanks for sharing that story with us, Ben. It's always good to get to know people a little bit more and kind of, learn about them, on a more intellectual level. So that's cool, bud.
Sure.
So you work for Yard Mastery for real? I didn't even know that. What do you do for them?
So right now I do a lot of stuff on their social media. I do a lot of the Instagram posts. I do a lot of customer service stuff. And there's a lot of different, we all kind of wear a lot of different hats, with Yard Mastery, where there's not, we all kind of do some customer service. We all kind of do this, a little of that. But my main stuff right now is a lot of social media and customer service type things.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I mean, I'm excited to learn a little bit more about what Alan's got going on with Yard Mastery, a little more in depth. If you guys don't know, he'll be on the show on February 13th, and I'm sure we'll be talking a little bit about the future of Yard Mastery. So, but that's cool, man. So he's got Brett, he's got you. That's awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's always good to have people in the community that actually know the business, know the people, and know everything, about it. So that's cool. So, Nate, bud, how exactly did you get into like making YouTube videos, bud?
So that's weird. It's kind of along the lines of what Ben was doing. Kind of how I even got started. I bought this house in 2014. And this house is about 30 years old. And I can tell you the previous owners cared nothing about this house. So I bought a house that actually was foreclosed on, and then a realtor kind of cleaned it up and flipped it. But it was obvious somebody didn't care about this place, and that included the yard. So I kind of struggled with it a bit, and then I seen a neighbor across the street that was just killing it. And that, you know how that goes. You can't have that happening. So I started digging around YouTube, and I ran into obviously Ellen's channel. I came across Ryan's, and then from there it just kind of snowballed. I ended up finding all the guys in Utah really quickly. Ben's one of the other channels. I've actually gone back. So one thing I did before I started making videos, I actually picked a group of creators. I went back and watched every single one of their videos at least once.
Wow.
And I'll tell you the struggling one, go try and watch all of Alan's videos. He has over 400 videos.
Oh man. I don't know if I could do that.
I actually watched every single one of Alan's video from his first one over 10 years ago all the way through.
Did you pick up the Chicago accent yet? After 400 videos?
No.
Hey, don't feel bad, man. I was born and raised in Chicago, and I still can't do it.
Oh, he does pretty good. So, when I started watching and learning, and then I started doing a lot of my own thing in the yard, and then I started interacting, and I think it was not last year, the year before, the big Movember campaign. And that kind of got me a little motivated to actually communicate with some of the different creators. And I started talking to Derek over at Lazy Lawns quite a bit. And he just kind of pushed me like, hey, dude, just grab your phone, go outside, and who cares? Just record anything. And like my first video, I rewatched it the other day. I'm about ready to delete it. It was terrible.
Dude, we were just talking about that earlier, me and you.
Yeah, I literally had to use a 5-gallon bucket as a tripod to make that video. I have upgraded a little bit since then, but not much. I still use my phone, and it works. And hopefully, things will just continue to grow, and it'll get better. But just slow. I mean, I don't want to invest a ton of money in YouTube if it's not successful. It's not successful. It's no skin off my back, but it's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Well, you're definitely doing good, man. I mean, I see you're about to push that 1,000 subscribers. So anybody in the chat that hasn't subscribed to Nate yet, head on over there. I do have good news, Nate, actually. It looks like Around the House with Pat has never seen your content before. And he said he just subscribed to your channel. So
yeah, I saw that. Thanks, Pat.
We're one more closer to that 1K, bud. We're one more there. And same thing with Christian. How about you, bud? How did a police officer in Southern California get into filming YouTube videos of himself?
Yeah, it's strange that you say that because I'm still surprised. I've been doing it for a year now, and there was only one person out here in the California area that was actually doing YouTube videos. And with anything, I kind of want to focus on like my area because we are a lot different for our weather climate than everyone else from the Utah area east. So that was Albert from Shortcut Lawn. So I started watching his stuff, and I realized there's no representation in Southern California, and let's do it. Let's grab my phone, and that same thing. I put together a video that was absolutely horrible, and I just learned from there. I just kept going. It's kind of my piece. It's my decompression from work. So when I have an idea or a thought, I just go out there and start filming. And like Nate said, I've kind of upgraded a little bit. I just got myself a GoPro 9, and ooh, I went all in on the Final Cut Pro and trying to learn how to do all that stuff. And it's really tough when you're not a computer guy. I can tell you that much. But it's fun. It's interesting to be able to put yourself out there with, without hesitation and no fear. Live for today. Don't worry about tomorrow.
Dude, I agree 100%. And I really like the point that you brought up about you being in a niche market, because now that I'm thinking about it, because I know Albert used to live by me over here in the Chicagoland area, but he did move out to California not too long ago. I don't know if you knew that. By the way, I don't know if he watches this or not, but Albert, if you're watching, I want you to know you truly are one of my favorite, if not the favorite, lawn care YouTube channel that I watch. So shout out to you, Shortcut Lawn. Dude, the way that he engineers his videos is just outstanding. He puts so much thought, so much process, and so much detail into his videos. It's the best. It's some of the best content, I think, on YouTube when it comes to lawn care. But yeah, like you said, man, I mean, you're over there in California. It's a niche market. There's not a lot of people out there making content. So I feel like that's a good opportunity, especially for you. Because even like to circle back over here to the Chicagoland area, aside from, Kyle and I and Jake, there's not really too many people in the Chicagoland area,
All right.
Yeah, so I think this experiment you're going to do with the KBG is going to prove successful, bud, because if you could pull it off year round, I mean, you might just start a new trend out there, because I know a lot of people have Bermuda over there in California, right?
There's a lot of Bermuda. I'm starting to see some St. Augustine lately. A lot of guys are starting to talk about that on social media in my area and some of the Socal groups that I'm on. But yeah, for the most part, there's a lot of warm season, and it's kind of split market. It just depends on kind of where you're at. The closest you get to the desert area, a lot of those folks have the warm season. The closer you get to the beach and the sand, the cool season stuff's there.
Yeah, definitely. I want to give a shout out to Lawntism. If you guys don't know Lawntism, he's part of the KOTD podcast, the Keep Off the Grass podcast. You guys are doing good over there. I watched your last episode, man. I really like watching what you guys got going on, because you got a whole bunch of guys from a bunch of different areas in the United States coming together on the podcast and all talking kind of like we're doing now. So if you guys want to see another lawn care podcast, make sure you go over there and check them out. And Lawntism specifically has an awesome story about his background. So if you want to learn a little bit more about him, go check out that podcast as well. And then Elevated Lawnscapes. I've been watching Elevated Lawnscapes content lately. I think he's going to be a heavy hitter coming up here, man, in the 2021 season.
Cam's killing it.
Yeah, he is, man. He's got some good content already, and the season hasn't even started. So thanks for stopping by, Cam. I really appreciate it. Ben, do you have any questions for these young men over here?
I think it's really cool that both guys, and like I've talked about before, obviously their content and their lawn care is an outlet for them, and I've always thought that with the community in general. I know we all like lawn care and those types of things, but I feel like it's so much more to people than just making your lawns really nice. I think there's a much deeper meaning, and you can tell, I mean, just by Nate and Chris talking about, how they got into YouTube and those types of things, that there's a lot going on. Chris, I think it'd be really cool if you started to have you ever thought about adding more of your obviously I know you can't add the stuff you do as a cop into your videos, but making it relatable to people that maybe I don't know, just kind of mixing that into your content, because that's one thing, like me as a stay-at-home dad, I've really wanted to try to mix into what I do as a stay-at-home dad in my videos to kind of separate yourself from other people and adding a different twist to what you do. And I don't know if you've ever considered doing that, and I honestly don't know how much of that you could actually or what that would even look like. I'm not saying you'd record yourself on the job per se, but I'm talking about I don't know. I'm really, that's the creative side of me that I'm not good at thinking about. I'm sure much more creative people oh, you could do this. It'd be really simple to do. But I don't know. That's just, I wanted to kind of put a plug in your ear about that, because I think that could potentially be, something pretty cool. Have you ever thought about that?
I have thought about it, and without letting too much out, there's some of that coming.
Real quick, guys.
Awesome.
Real quick, I do want to jump up in the comments. We got a super chat from Scott O'Hare. What's going on, Scott? Thank you so much for the super chat. He said, appreciate you guys in the lawn care community. So I want to extend that appreciation to you guys too, you fellas that joined us today. You're very welcome, Scott. Thank you so much, buddy. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I got to say, Scott's getting to be right up there with Grace, being in just about every live video I've seen. It's cool to have him around and to support. Appreciate you, Scott.
Yeah, for sure.
Ben, if you can ask them a question, I'm going to say goodnight to my daughter real quick.
Oh yeah. Well, so what can you give us, Chris? Can you give us any sort of like details of what you have working on and with what you might be incorporating your job into what you do with your content?
So recently I got accepted with the Echo Meets Business and the user advisory group for mentorships for the green industry, lawn pros and stuff like that. So it's for me, it's I'm going to be doing a 5-series videos for them, basically going from law enforcement my career law enforcement to transitioning to full-time as lawn care, because that's kind of my plan for when I retire. Is I want to build up my lawn care business a little bit more and expand on it for once I'm done being a cop, so that way I can, be my own boss for once, do my own thing.
Right on. That's pretty cool. I didn't honestly know you had cared for other lawns. I didn't know you did that as well, in addition to your own stuff on your lawn and what you do on your channel.
Yeah, I started doing it for my neighbor next door, and I kind of started focusing on the elders around my area, and I wanted to take care of their yards to kind of, I see that they can't get out there and do it, so I started doing it for them, and then they started paying me to do it, and, I never did it for money. So I basically take the profits that they give me and I put it back towards products for the yard. So and then from there it grew. They started putting my name out there to their family and friends. And, I think I'm up to like 24, 25 yards that I take care of on my off days. So I do anything from mowing to just the regular fertilization programs, spraying, whatever they really want done for their yards is kind of what I base my business off of. And I just throw that all in the bank and just throw it back into the company to buy equipment and better myself and, do what I can for the environment out here in California. The greener, the better.
That's
wow,
pretty
man.
cool.
Yeah, 25 lawns. Oh, that's a lot, but that's a good way to stay in shape too. I mean, I get a good workout just mowing my own lawn. I can't imagine 25. Jeez.
It gets tiring sometimes, but it's fun.
Real quick, I want to give a super special shout out to Papa Moslow. Thank you so much, Papa, for the super chat. He said, keep up the great quality work, George. My wife said that I just have a lawn care podcast addiction. Yeah, me too, bud. You're not the only one. I think we all have a lawn care podcast addiction. I see that it just set up here that the stream content just got lowered because of the quality. If anybody in the chat could let me know if there's any stuttering or anything, I would appreciate it. And I also want to give a super special shout out to Super TA. Thank you so much for the super chat, bud. I really appreciate it. Wow, we're on fire tonight. He said, Striper, I'm going to be your Liberty 43, bro. Oh, man. Congratulations, Super TA. You're going to jump on the Liberty 43 train. I'm thinking, I was just looking at that new Liberty mower that they came out, like the Westminster or something like that. I know it's probably way overkill for me. I don't even know how much that thing costs, but I might look into getting an outlet myself, either that or a Swordman, so we'll see. And I do want to give a shout out to Lawn and Order SC. Lawn and Order SC, who's that, Christian? Is that your brother or something?
I don't know. I got to touch bases with him. I like the name.
Man, dude, it sounds original. Yeah, hey, I guess SC is just South Carolina, right? Hey, watch there be a Lawn and Order in every single state now, Christian.
Dude, it's funny because my wife picked the name out.
Oh, okay. All right. Ron Henry said everything looks good. All right, cool. I don't know what Ecam is telling me, but that's good, man. So, Nate, you know, you've had a lot of YouTube growth, and you know, you've done a lot of things this season. I know the people in the chat. There's a lot of people in here that are content creators themselves, and they're making a lot of long content, but they might not, you know, quite be at that 1K mark yet. Is there any kind of, you know, advice? I mean, again, we're not pros, you know, but is there any kind of advice or things you might have learned that might help them out in their growth?
So one of the biggest things I've learned is um, learn to study your analytics just a little bit. Don't go crazy over them. But I quickly found after looking over mine that if you're not putting yourself out there, you're not going to get discovered as quickly. What I mean by that is share your videos on Instagram, share your videos on Facebook, but you kind of have to be creative when you do that, because a lot, Facebook specifically, a lot of these groups don't want you just putting clickbait to your videos out there. So what I'll do is I follow, and I'm sure these other guys do too, I follow several different groups. And when people ask questions, I'll actually try to answer their questions, but then link to a video I made. And you'd be amazed how many people actually click on those, and you're not getting your post removed for like advertising. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's a big mistake that a lot of new creators make, is they'll just start spamming their videos everywhere. I mean, I see it everywhere, even in the Facebook groups. I know you guys see it, man. It's like the same group of people, too, that are always posting the same videos over and over and over again.
Yeah, and some groups you can get away with it, but others you can't. So you just got to be a little more creative about sharing your stuff.
Exactly. I do want to give a super special shout out to Striper Man. Thank you so much for this super chat, Striper Man. I really appreciate it. He said, great group of guys tonight. Not only these guys, Striper Man, but you too. You know, I really want to give a special thanks to Striper Man, because he helped me kick off this whole podcast series back when I first started America's Top Lawns. He was my second guest on the show. And he was such an awesome guest, and he kind of gave me the confidence to keep doing this, because he was such a good guest and we vibed so well. And, you know, it was kind of like he helped me build up the momentum to keep this thing going. So thank you so much, Striper Man, for being one of the first guys. You know, that really does mean a lot, man. I mean that. But yeah, like you were saying, Nate, I mean, links definitely help, and you got to put yourself out there, man. You got to stand out. I feel like that's a big thing. I know that you had a lot of work that you were doing with who was it, GCI or
with Green County Fertilizer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did a couple of the next videos. I kind of just stumbled into that. If you guys know that John this year, after Paul Castleberry's parting ways, just reached out to different creators, and I reached out to John. I'm like, hey, what are you looking for? You know, what are your, when you pick who's doing these? And he pointed out some things I can fix and change, and how to get past the nervousness of the camera. I mean, I've made 40 videos and I still get nervous every time. It is what it is, but he really helped me through that on how to get used to it. And just having a conversation with him, and I had asked him, you know, hey, Howard, how is it that you're picking who's doing these? And he goes, well, heck, you want to try it? And he, you know, I was already doing a renovation. I'm like, well, sure, I'm already using your product anyways. I was going to make videos. I may as well just make them for the next DIY channel. So it just worked out, and figured it was a test. It was a lot of fun. It's a little more stressful, because you're not only representing you're representing a bigger community, a bigger channel, and a rather large business. So
but,
it's a little stressful.
I could imagine doing stuff like that could give you a lot of exposure too, right?
It definitely got some. Ended up doing that whole overseeding series. Turned out to be 4 videos. So yeah, that did help with the growth a little bit. It wasn't a ton. It was some. But of course, those videos are always going to be there. And I would think next season, you know, now that it's there and in place, people will start to discover those videos next year, and it will probably really pay off then.
Well, Nate, I got to say, man, I'm proud of you, and that's an awesome story that you got going on. And I think it's an inspiration for a lot of the content creators that are in the group as well. If you guys like Nate's story, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps us reach more people in the algorithm, not just in this podcast here, but for future people getting into lawn care, they'll be able to see this video more often if you guys hit that like button. So we really appreciate it. And then not only that, but Christian, I saw that you made a video for them too, right? It just came out.
Yeah, I just had my video released. That was a year-long project that I did, and it's kind of the same thing as Nate said. Just kind of reached out to John and talked to him and communicated and said, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it together and throw it in his hands and see what happens. And, you know, they took it and ran with it. My biggest growth, though, believe it or not, I owe it to Ben and to Alan for Yard Mastery when they threw out my double dark combination video out there. That was my biggest growth. That's one of the things that I found that's kind of difficult is some people focus on that growth. I really don't focus on it too much. If it gets there, it gets there. If people like it, they like it. But I don't try to focus on, you know, oh, I lost 20, I gained 10, I gained 5. I just do it. I do it for fun. I do it because it gives me something to do. It helps me break the monotony of work and, you know, the family life a little bit. So it's my escape. And, you know, I just do it to do it. And if it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like most of my affiliates, the stuff I get from that, I give back to the community. Because I'm not in this for the dollar. I'm in it for the fun and the people. Like Nate, you know, Nate and I are close. We're good friends. We talk almost every single day, and I owe that to the lawn care community and YouTube.
Yeah, that's awesome, bud. Real quick, I do want to give a super special shout out to my best friend, Mujahid Khan. He's not really into lawn care, but he showed up again to show the support. Thank you so much, bud. I really appreciate it. But yeah, man. So yeah, that's awesome, guys. You know, I'm so happy that we actually have a lot of the content creators here in this live stream. I feel like it's a good way for us to all network and get together and kind of get to know each other a little bit more. So, and I feel like your guys' stories is really inspirational, and, you know, people could possibly, you know, apply some of those tactics to their channel as well. But yeah. If there was one thing that you guys wish you knew before you started making YouTube videos, what would it be?
Oh, how much time goes into editing?
I feel like not a lot of people realize that.
Yeah. It's all about
so much time.
Editing.
Let me ask you, Ben. Ben, since you're in the group right now and you've been doing this for years and years and years, you obviously have a lot more experience over us. I find you've been doing it for 3 years. Does it get faster, you know, as the time goes by? Because, you know, it takes me at least 8 hours to edit a video still.
Yeah, I think it does. Especially when you're forced into a situation to where you have to know how to do it faster in order to make the video. I mean, like, for instance, having 3 kids under 4, I shoot videos in the weekend. Sometimes I'll get a chance to shoot something during the week, but rarely do I ever. So I need to make the most of that time. So you just have to go with what you do, what you record. And obviously it's kind of like when you find, like, whatever editing software you use, you'll get faster at knowing shortcuts and ways to edit things more quickly, like with keyboard shortcuts and those types of things. The other thing too that you'll find is, like, recording things in a way that, you know, this is going to be valuable footage versus just like, I'm going to turn the camera on and let it roll. Now Connor Ward, you 100% know that's exactly what he does, but you're going to have a boatload of footage to go through to pick and choose what you want. And there's pros and cons to that. So the way Connor does it, you definitely get a lot more authenticity from his videos because he doesn't care what he records and he doesn't care what he's going to use in a video. And I don't think most of us are like that. We kind of we think about something, we're like, all right, well, this is how I want it to look, so I'm going to record and say this. And that can be good and bad because sometimes it can sound too scripted, if you want to call it that, or not necessarily as authentic as Connor would sound. So I think it does get quicker. It just takes time. The more you do it, the quicker you're going to get it. Doing something, you're going to find more efficient ways to doing things, and you're just going to, like I said, when you're put in a situation where you have to make this, you have to know how to do it faster, or else it's really not going to be sustainable. You'll figure out a way to make it go faster then.
Yeah, I think my personal problem when it comes to editing videos is that I kind of like try to overthink the videos a little too much, and I should kind of cut back and let loose, because all my videos that really took off and get a lot of views are the ones that I kind of just turned on the camera and just started talking basic about. And then the videos that I try to over engineer and like go way over the top, they don't really get that many views. So I think we can all take a page out of Connor's book, to just let loose.
Yeah.
So when I got to go to Utah a few months ago, I didn't go there to hang out with, Jimmy and Justin and John, and I didn't go there to make videos. Jeremy also. I went there to learn how those guys do it and how they plan, whether they plan, how they plan. And I learned very, very quickly, they shoot from the hip. They do exactly what you guys say. They don't plan anything. The only one that did was the Pest and Lawn Ninja, and he puts a lot of effort into his planning, and it works for him. It works great. But the rest of the guys, they don't plan anything. They just go for it. And I was kind of surprised by that. But that was one of the biggest things I took away from my trip in Utah is don't over plan it. Because then I started stressing. Like, hey, they just turn the camera on and they just go. It was amazing to stand back and watch them. Just not even like, let's say Justin was interacting with Jimmy Lewis. There was nothing discussed beforehand before they turned the camera on. They just went and did it. It was pretty incredible to watch.
That's kind of like the page that I'm trying to take. Real quick, I do want to give a super special shout out to a couple of the guys in the live stream. We got LG. What's up, LG? He's our biggest fan. Yeah, right. You hear that, Ron Henry? He's been playing a game between me and you, man, saying that we both had the best podcast. Sure. Seriously. And then I want to give a shout out to the Longineer, as he likes to say, do 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 do. That's an inside joke between us. And then we got Nate from Striped Life. What's going on, buddy? Man, we got the whole KOTG podcast up in the building right now. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and showing the support. So yeah, they just kind of push record and just go with it, Nate.
They do, and it turns out great. It was pretty cool to watch, especially when we were at Jeremy's house. So it was kind of an odd experience. Imagine like 6 YouTubers being in your yard really early in the morning. Everybody's got cameras and drones flying, and there's like 6 guys pushing a lawnmower around. If you haven't seen the videos, they're great.
I want to check them out.
I put one together. I know Justin put one together. Jimmy put one together. I don't know if Jeremy did. And then there's another upcoming guy there called the Highlander Lawn, I believe is what it's called. Is his channel name? Yeah, great guy.
What's his name?
Run us some jokes because he's kind of height challenged. He's kind of shorter. But yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, especially to just wing that. It was pretty incredible. Got to learn a lot from those guys, and that was my whole goal. So it was pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah. So Christian, I want to ask you, but if there's any advice that you can give to some new creators that are starting out, what would it be?
It's kind of hard because we all have our different niches. Like for me, I'm still trying to break out the real me to come out on video sometimes, because I try to be professional and keep the joking to the side, but away from the camera. I'm just a comic relief kind of guy, always busting jokes. I'm always that first guy out there. Just be yourself. Don't try to be someone you're not. I know there's some people that I've seen that try to mimic others sometimes, and it doesn't really work as well. You just got to be yourself. Don't try to be Alan. Don't try to be a Connor. Don't try to be a Jake. Just go out there and be who you are, and that's what people are going to take to. So I think that's kind of the mentality that you have to have, because we all want to put it out there and be the best person that we can be, and hope that we gain followers. They'll come. I'll tell you right now, if anyone starts a YouTube channel and I find you, I try to follow every single creator out there, because to me, that's what this is supposed to be about, is we're all supposed to be supporting each other. So when I see a new creator, I instantly subscribe to their channel, hit the bell notification. That's just me. But you just got to be yourself. Go out there, let it all out, let loose, do your thing. I started incorporating my son into my videos. I'm trying to get my wife, but that's not going to happen. But just have fun with it. Don't be shy. Forget the cameras there and just be you. That's the best advice I can give. Just be you.
And, I want to compliment you, Christian, on your impromptu communication skills, but you're very well spoken, over here on the live stream. I do want to compliment you on that, because I recognize talent when I see it, and good job with that, bud.
I wish I could put that on video sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you can use that as kind of like a segue into your videos. Just kind of like imagine that you're on the podcast rather than recording a YouTube video, but it is a little bit easier when you have somebody in front of you, and, you could kind of feed off of their energy and kind of talk to them a little bit,
It is. It's a lot easier. And it's funny because my neighbor sometimes will pop his head up over the fence when I'm recording, and he'll throw a little smart comic at me. So it kind of like throws my whole rhythm off. So, it's fun. You're in the front yard doing something, your neighbors walk by and you're filming something. They want to start having a chit chat conversation with you. So you kind of like, that was going so well.
I want to give a shout out to Andy's Lawn Care and Outdoor Adventures. He's taken off. Thank you so much, Andy, for stopping by, bud. I really appreciate it. He's got to go take care of that snow. Like I told you guys earlier in the podcast, we're getting like a foot of snow tonight here in Chicago. Like literally there's a snowstorm right behind me. So I'm probably going to I'm probably going to have to go take care of that too. My car's outside. I got to go put it in the garage. And I want to give a shout out to Mr. Lush Lawn too. Thank you so much, buddy, for stopping by the podcast. Really appreciate it. How about you, Ben? Since we got a lot of creators in here, since you've been here since you have some time under your belt, what would you say is like your number one piece of advice for them? Because that's the whole point of this podcast is I realize a lot of people that are going to watch this are going to be content creators, and not a whole lot of them will probably be just regular normie lawn people. But that's all right. If we can help at least one person in this chat, I call that a win.
Well, I think like first starting out, I don't think people should really worry about subscribers and views. And I think you just need to keep making content, and you need to keep finding your rhythm and your style. It's really easy to start comparing yourself to other people and like almost having like it obviously competition's good, but it's almost like you can create like an internal battle within yourself. You're like, man, they're doing this and I'm not doing that. But then it starts to not be fun. If you're going to start doing that, you need to like kind of come back to like, why did I start this in the first place? Was it because I wanted to make this giant YouTube channel, or was it because I wanted to just have fun, and it was another way for me to be involved with the community, and so on. And like Christian said, like the people and that will come as you create more content. And as a smaller channel, the one of the better ways to being more recommended in the algorithm, if you want to call it that, is by just continually putting out more and more content, and not necessarily staying on a schedule, because your channel at that point is not really to a point to where people are like, oh, this person puts out a video this time. Like if you're a really small channel, like, and I consider under 1,000 and even just a couple thousand, like keep putting out content like frequently. Don't worry about if it's the same time, like, if it's the same day. If you have multiple videos, don't try to spread them out. Just throw them out there. Like obviously, maybe not on the same day, but do like one every other day or something like that. Because that's going to get you more, more noticed in the algorithm in those types of things by just putting out regular content. And then I would say making sure you're tagging and putting the right tags and keywords in your description and that you're in your description and the actual tag like things where you type in the tags and stuff like that. That's another important thing to know how to do. And that just kind of comes with experience. And there's several other people. There's YouTube videos on that really easily teach you how to do that. I'm not going to explain that because that just there's a much smarter people than me that can explain that in a much better way than I could. All it takes is like Google or YouTube, how to keyword your YouTube videos or something like that. Because I don't even think I do it very well. I just kind of use what I've learned and then and kind of play around with it and just see how, because every video is going to be different. Now they always recommend like the tags to be in certain orders and those types of things, but you just need to keep making content. And if it becomes people need to remember, like if you started a YouTube channel to create a business, that's one thing. Hopefully it's always fun. I mean, I would hope that. But if you started a YouTube channel because you wanted to be involved with the community and have fun, you always need to fall back on that. Like, am I having fun anymore, or am I turning this into something that's not fun? And that's what people need to keep in mind as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with you 100%, Ben. And sometimes I see in the Facebook group, a lot of people are talking about analytics and they're kind of obsessing over the analytics. Is there any advice that you can give to the new creators regarding the obsession of analytics and how they can handle that stress?
Don't look at it.
Yeah, that's good advice.
I mean, I'm really serious because like even my channel, I don't even consider my channel to be a big channel. It's not. I mean, analytics can fluctuate for a small channel like myself and smaller so much that it's not like you're getting a real good spectrum of things. Like even if you had a channel for like a year, that next year it can look totally different. Like for instance, my 2018 views looked way different than my 2019 views looked way different than 2020. Like it was just weird. Like it didn't have the same tick, and then 2020 there was a lot more views. So you have to just keep creating content in order to for the analytics to really start to make more of an impact on what you're doing. You have to have several years of data to actually look at to get a better spectrum of what worked and what didn't work. And that's why it's really important just to keep making videos, keep trying different things, and then go with that, because that's going to give you a lot of different variables that you're going to see that changed things, that worked, that didn't work, that you liked, and all those types of things. And that's just another way for people to kind of find your groove in a way.
Ben, I have a personal question for you from me. So with your videos, since you've been making since 2018, do you still get a healthy amount of views on your videos from, say, 2018 now?
There's a few, I can't remember. There's a few that I know randomly do well. Like I did a video with a local guy, Coven. You guys probably know Coven. Yeah. When I went over there and cut his lawn up with him with the sod cutter, that one is one of my more, right now, I believe it's one of the more top viewed videos, but it's also one of the most disliked videos as well, because people think it's going to be this teaching videos or something like that, when it was really more of kind of a vlog style. I don't know. I wouldn't really call it a true vlog, but yeah, I would say some videos that I've done in the past still get views and some don't, because the YouTube is always pushing newer and fresher videos and not pulling up old stuff. Now, obviously, sometimes if you have videos that the way you had the keywords put in there, it may just trigger something, and that old video is going to become really popular for some reason. I don't know. So I don't really change my keywords at all. I usually, I'll leave them the way they are for the most part, and just kind of go from there.
And then Sunny Bermuda asks, what's the most important analytic when it comes to YouTube? I would personally say click-through rate is number one.
Yep.
I would say hands down, click-through rate is definitely number one. And I think that kind of proves the point because I was talking to Right Tool in the Facebook group, and he had a video that only had 20% average view ratio, but his click-through rate was a solid 10%, and he got 1.2 million views on that video with an
10%
average view
high.
duration of 20%. So so I definitely think click-through rate is number one. And what does that all boil down to? Your thumbnail.
Yep.
If you don't have a good thumbnail, you can have the best video in the world, but if the thumbnail isn't enticing, you might as well just flush it down the toilet. I hate to say that, but it's the truth when it comes to YouTube.
Yeah, and I think that changes from time to time. Like I think right now the click-through rate is what YouTube or Google uses to refer people to that video, and I think that can change over time because I don't think it was always the click-through rate. I think that's something that they've changed their algorithm to refer those videos because I think sometimes it was more like the number of views or something like that. I don't know the history of it, but I do know it does change over time on because they're always looking at the variables that's going to give them the most views isn't the wrong word, but the thing that's going to promote stuff on their platform essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So Nate, bud, I know your season's gonna be kicking off pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
You got any
Really
you got any big plans for 2021? How's your renovation looking? Did it thicken up before the season was over?
No. It kind of actually thinned out a little bit. I think some of that is just the excessive rain. The front yard does that too. As we start to warm up and dry out a little bit, it should bounce back great. That kind of remains to be seen. The one thing about that renovation is that My Soil seed had about 20% Kentucky bluegrass in it, and per like every university study around here, Kentucky bluegrass does not grow well in my area. But that's been on past weather, and the weather in this area has gotten a bit different in the last 10, 15 years.
If you don't
And
mind
so
me
more-
asking, what exactly about your weather is not good for KBG? If I had to guess, the excessive moisture.
It's the excessive moisture and battling the fungus, and then if I read a lot of it right, Kentucky bluegrass actually really likes the cold, and it doesn't get extremely cold here. Like I haven't stopped mowing my yard all winter. It's slowed down a lot, but I've actually had to go out there about every 14, 20 days and go out and cut it.
Jeez, really?
Yeah, and it's tough to do with all the rain. I literally have to hope for like a short couple-hour window that it'll try and dry out and then get out there and do it. But I'm hoping that it works out. I mean, I know there's a lot of people watching to see how the Kentucky bluegrass does well, and I look at it this way: if it doesn't, there's perennial rye all in there. So it should be fine. I hope it's great. As far as the rest of this year, we've got some trips planned. I'll just leave it at that. There'll be some road trips. I'll be doing some filming. I'm hoping to do more stuff with Greene County Fertilizer. We'll see how that pans out. I haven't been told anything yet, but hopefully that'll work.
With your lawn renovation, what seed did you specifically use?
So I bought I didn't buy. I was given the My Soil Premium Double Dark.
My Soil makes grass seed?
Yeah. This last year they started selling the grass seed.
Dude, that's news to me.
It's grown locally here. And it's 80% perennial ryegrass and 20% Kentucky bluegrass. And so I got a bag of that, and I figured, okay, fine, I'll try it. It'll work. It actually was really good stuff. It germinated in like 3 days, and it just exploded. It took off. It did great. So it's struggling a little bit now just because it's wet. But I think as soon as we start to dry out and it gets a little warmer, it'll bounce right back and thicken up. It doesn't help that I have 2 dogs out there running around on it when it's all wet and muddy too. So I'm gonna have a few spots to fix, but.
Yeah, that's awesome, bud. And then Christian, I know that what's going on with your lawn for 2021?
So I have quite a few different things going on right now. So the front yard, on the front main side, I mixed
your mic
in
is
this
coming
year.
in a little hot, bud.
So for the front yard this year. I mixed in some of the blue heat with my fescue from GCI last year. Then I've got the blue heat on the shared side. The backyard, I don't want to reveal that quite yet because that's kind of a little hidden feature of what I got going on. Barenbrug gave me a bunch of seed, so I've got 7 or 8 different seed blends that are going on a test plot. So I'll reveal that here in a video come springtime. So it's a little sample of what I got going on, and I'm just making better videos and improving myself and trying to get California seen. And I'll be doing some trips out here in California, going to see some of the yards of the people in the Facebook groups, and getting them some recognition out there for the wonderful things they're doing on their yards. So I got a lot planned for this year.
So the seed that you threw down, that was Barenbrug, right?
Yeah. So they sent me their 2 types of Kentucky bluegrass. They sent me a sample trial seed that's not out on the market yet. It's a fescue blend. They sent me their Rhizomus fescue, and then I have it's a Mountain View seed. It's a West Coast blend, they call it. It's a 5 BAB. That's the only information they have on it. There's really not much more about it. And then I just planted my soil. They gave me 4 pounds of seed as well. So they're all in one strip. So it's going to be a little spring to summertime, to see which one holds up the best, because my goal this year is to try and find the best seed for our weather temperatures here during the summertime. So it's all based towards summertime.
I'm getting so nervous about the springtime, bud, because I just did that front lawn renovation up front, and it's midnight KBG, and it didn't fill in completely by the end of the season. I'm getting a little nervous over the wintertime, how it's going to handle the snow and everything.
I was the same way with my Kentucky, because I know Justin had planted the same thing in his backyard. So we had discussed it and talked about it. And it's funny because I realized from what he said at day 55 is when his took off, was the exact same for me. So I've learned that if I spoon feed it, it did a lot better and came in a lot faster and thicker.
Yeah, not to mention the warm weather you guys got over there in California.
Yeah, that weather helps a little bit. We still get our cold streaks here. We get a couple of nights where we freeze over, but they don't stay too long.
Yeah. And then, Ben, I know you have tall turf type fescue, right?
Yeah, it's predominantly tall fescue. There's some Kentucky bluegrass mixed in there. I believe my backyard has more Kentucky bluegrass mixed in it than the rest. I'm not the best at identifying grass types, or at least the difference between the different cool season grass types. But I think there is more Kentucky bluegrass in the back than the rest. So yeah.
Real quick, I want to give a special shout out to Mowing with Mark. What's up, Mark? Dude, this guy is doing all sorts of trial testing on grass plants. He's got he's growing grass over the wintertime and controlled testing, and it's awesome. I like what he's doing over there. Speaking of mowing with Mark, he got a question for you, Christian. He said, now that you planted the Blue Heat KVG, what did you think?
I actually like it. Like I said earlier, I'm hoping it will make it through the summertime, because if it does, I already told the wifey that we're smoking off the front yard, re-leveling it and going all Kentucky blue out there, because I just absolutely love the look of it. It's amazing. I'm not going to real mow. I'm not getting that far, but baby steps.
Yet.
So speaking of real mowing, you guys are my first I get kind of, aside from garage gear, you guys are my first guests that don't real mow your lawns. Are any of you guys thinking about getting into it?
My wife really.
I don't want to.
Yeah, my wife really wanted us to, because it's memories of her father.
Wait, your wife wanted you to?
Yeah, she actually wants me to real mow. The front yard would be impossible. It's too. I have 3 maple trees, and the roots just cause problems. It's on a. It's hard to tell in video, but it's on a good grade. I think it would be way too much work. But the backyard, she really wanted me to. However, when it rains as much as it does, it'd be very, very difficult to keep up with mowing it almost daily. And then having to clean up after the dogs every day. And yeah, it just would be a ton of work. I don't know if I could commit to it. And honestly, for content, I would say probably 95% of the viewers, they don't real mow.
I totally agree.
Try to relate to them a little bit. You know, there's a lot of guys doing it and there's nothing wrong with it. I think it looks great. When I went to Utah, I saw those guys' lawns and how they real mow them. It looks awesome. I would love to do it, but I just try to keep it simple.
Hey, Ben, I know you're over there in St. Louis. Have you visited Brandon's house yet? I know he visited you.
No, I have not been over to his house, but you did mention reel mowing. I did manual reel some common Bermuda at my old house. I don't know if you,
that doesn't count, man. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know if you've seen those videos, but that was some of my favorite. I loved it. Was only like a, I don't know, 300 to 400 square foot area, maybe a little bit bigger, of common Bermuda, and it was a shared lawn between my house and my neighbor's house, and it had a bunch of common Bermuda in it. And I told him, I was like, hey, you want to remove that Bradford bear? And he's like, yeah, I do, because the roots were starting to push up the driveway. So he cut it down, removed the stump, and then the big area, the tree ring that was around it, I used the common Bermuda that I had there already and plugged that entire area, and it filled in within 6 weeks. It was, that was my favorite. I miss that. If there's one thing about my old house I miss, it's that little Bermuda patch, because it was so cool. You could do anything to it and it wouldn't care. And yeah, it was probably one of the most enjoyable spots of the area that I used to take care of. And after doing it, I totally get why people get sucked into the reel mowing, because it looks, there's nothing like that look. It just looks, it's the tight, well-kept look. But there is a good amount of, work that goes into that. And I wasn't even really into it. I was just kind of doing it for fun, and realizing, wow, if I had a much larger area, this would be a good amount of work.
So was that in St. Louis as well?
Yep. Yeah, so that was all in St. Louis.
So you guys can grow Bermuda down there in St. Louis. Actually, as a matter of fact, I remember Coven talking about that in one of his videos, how he had Bermuda. Did he have Bermuda when you guys cut that out?
No, I don't know. He didn't. It was his lawn that he had there was I think, kind of a hodgepodge of different cool season grass. I don't know. Maybe at one point in that house, he had some common Bermuda mixed in there, but all that stuff he had in his lawn before he overseeded with, he did the renovation with the monostand of Mazama.
Super TA said, easy, George. After 4 passes with a manual reel, the lawn looked pristine. Oh, man. Dude, that's the thing about reel mowing, man. There's just so much chatter, and you just got to keep on mowing it over and over and over again. And, it gets kind of annoying.
That's my issue with it. You got to constantly go out there and keep mowing to keep it low. And my schedule, I don't have that type of time to go out there and do it every other day.
Yeah. Over here around the house with Pat, he said he reel mowed last season. He just picked up a Swordman, man. So I'm super excited to see that content he's going to be putting out this spring.
Nice.
Yeah, and he was leveling his lawn. Dude, this guy leveled his lawn like I never seen any other influencers leveling. Like, he was cutting up the lawn and then leveling the bottom and then putting the lawn back over it. Like, that was crazy. Like, he was leveling from the bottom up, not from the top down, if that makes sense.
Oh, so he was like sod cutting his lawn and then leveling the dirt underneath and then putting the sod back on top?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, that is wild, man.
Who is that?
Around the House with Pat. If any of you guys want to see that, go check out Around the House with Pat.
Hey, George, am I able to put links in the chat? Because you said you didn't know My Soil Made Seed. I was going to put a link into that in the chat.
Yeah,
if you wanted. Okay.
Yeah, no worries, bud. You're with us, man. Hey, look who just popped in, Neighbor Dominator. Thank you so much for stopping by, Clint. Man, I'm so excited about our 2021 long goals. I feel like we're all just gonna take it to the next level coming up. And I mean, we're just prepping, we're hyping ourselves, we're talking about it right now. You know, I just got a good feeling about this year.
I don't see how you guys can sit back and wait for so long.
I kind of like the downtime to a degree, because by the end of the fall, at the end of fall, I'm just kind of like, you know what, I do just need a little bit of a break. But the only thing I dislike about the end of fall and winter is I can't stand how, I don't know if you guys all go through the time change and stuff at the end of fall and spring. I know some states do it and some states don't. I can't stand when it's like dark at 4 o'clock. Now I know it would still. Now I know the time change doesn't change that, but it does make it worse because you'd be getting dark like maybe 5, a little after 5 if it didn't fall back to an hour or so. But that's one of my biggest things. And luckily the days are getting longer, and as far as sunlight goes, so that's always a positive.
I'd have to agree with you there. I do like when I get off work and I come home at 6 or 7:30 at night, and there's still about an hour to 2 hours worth of daylight out there, so I can get something done.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that portion of it. Instead of me going out at 4 o'clock in the morning and catching myself on the Ring camera throwing down some 1801 or something.
So, Christian, since you got the grass growing right now, you got any content coming up here in the very near future?
I should have 2 videos coming out here probably within the second week of February, first week of February, and third week of February.
You want to tease us a little bit?
The first one's going to be a soil sample test that I did from 2 different companies.
Oh yeah.
So I'll be throwing that one out there. The second one is going to be for us over here because we're already starting to see some crabgrass. So I'll be throwing down some prodiamine, some Yard Mastery prodiamine. You can get it at yardmastery.com. So yeah, I'll be throwing that down.
Yeah, I heard that Yard Mastery was selling like the not individual. What am I saying? Like the little things of prodiamine. Is that true?
Yep.
Yeah,
5 ounces. For,
that's awesome. That's awesome that they do that because I don't have a big lawn personally, and I used to buy the prodiamine WDG on eBay. And people would like break it down, man. Like it was like drugs, man. They're like breaking it down with like credit cards and stuff, and like splitting it into like baggies and selling it on eBay. And I actually bought it from there, and like it was kind of sketchy, Like I was thinking, like, what if like Interpol like intercepted that through like the delivery? What would they think that is? It's like bright yellow.
I don't know if that's exactly legal for people to do that, but I'm sure they do.
Yeah, I mean that's how I bought it before, but it's nice to know that I can get it from somebody legit,
Yep.
Because there's no way I would need a whole gallon of that.
Yeah, I have a big jug of it, and I've been telling neighbors like, if you need me to spray your lawn, I will.
Hey Ben, what are some other products Yard Mastery has where they like broken it down for like an average consumer? Is that the only
thing? That's one of the main things right now. I know that's one of the big things Alan always tries to work on with companies is trying to, hey, you could make a lot of money if you broke this down into maybe a smaller bottle. Granted, like if you were to, because that's what homeowners want, right? They want a smaller bottle because they don't want to have a big, 5-gallon or whatever jug of something because it's either going to be really expensive to begin with, but then if you were to break down, or they're not going to be able to use it all. But obviously when they sell the smaller quantities, if you were to buy that much, like the smaller ones, you're obviously paying more per ounce or whatever when you buy the smaller quantities, but it's convenience. That's what people want. They want that small convenient price and size. But the prodiamine is really the one that the main thing right now, but that's something we're always, or Alan's always looking to bring to to Yard Mastery is those smaller quantities because a lot of people like that.
I want to give a shout out to Made You Look Lawn Care. He said, "What's up to all of us, guys? Thank you so much for stopping by, Lalo, right? Lalo.
No.
Yeah. Thank you so much for stopping by, bud. Appreciate that. Hey, Ben, if I could give you guys a little recommendation over there at the old YM, man, I would say, like, you guys should start offering PGR, man, in smaller forms, because I'm buying my PGR right now from eBay as well, and they're selling it to me in, like, those, like, those, like, ketchup squirt bottles they have at diners?
Mm-hmm.
They put the PGR in there, and then they wrap it with duct tape over and over and over again to make sure it doesn't leak. Because let me tell you, PGR is some dangerous stuff, man. I left some in a Solo cup overnight in my garage, and it literally melted right through the cup. I kid you not. And,
Wow.
yeah. So, like, I don't really like ordering that through eBay either, because, what if it, like, breaks open in the mail?
You're not the first one to ask that to be in a smaller quantity. So
Yeah.
it's always a limitation from what the distributors and the people that actually make the product and what they're willing to do.
Yeah.
So,
but maybe in the future, if you guys do, I'll definitely pick some up off you guys. Really appreciate that. Hey, Mowing with Mark said he likes your new logo, Nate.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Yeah, I put a lot of effort in. It's one thing I've been doing, and since I'm not really making videos, is I put a lot of time into the channel by new logo, channel banner, and some of that was with your help, George. Going through and fixing things in the videos like keywords and coming up with I have a whole list of plans and ideas for this year. I literally spend every day trying to quirk and change things, and you just kind of take it to the next level. And the one thing that always bothered me was that for original logo, while it looked, some guys like it, I didn't. I put that together really quickly. That was actually a picture of Mount Adams that I took on a trip up there a couple of years ago. Really cool picture, but yeah, I needed something different. And I like the one I got now.
yeah, I've noticed the new logo. I like that one a lot.
Man, you guys got these fancy banners, dude. I gotta up my swag over here, dude. Man, you guys selling those on your merch store too?
Wait,
Believe it or not,
I'm
those
talking about the
are
banners
super
behind them.
cheap. Yeah, they're super cheap.
Are they really?
Yeah, I paid I think it was like $20 for mine, put together and shipped. It's from God, what was it? Cheapbanners.com, I believe it is.
I think it's buy banners on cheap or something like that. I'll put a link at the
cheapassbanners.com.
Yeah.
I bought it and I said, you know what, it's $20. Let's see how it comes out. And I tell you what, I was pretty surprised at how it came out. So for $20, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
what are the dimensions of it?
Mine's a 2x4.
Now mine, I did a 2x5 because it fits in a space in the garage really well. And I also added grommets to help hang it, and I can move it around. And it was only $35 delivered. That included shipping. It was pretty cheap.
Nathan, yours is like good with all the white space on the side. Yours is perfect to put stickers on, like to
Don't
surround.
give me any ideas. I thought about that. Because I made the same. I wouldn't call it a mistake. I did the same thing Jimmy Lewis did and started putting them on a refrigerator I have in the garage. I've had that refrigerator since I was 18, so it's like 30 years old. And I know it's going to go one day, so I'm going to regret that. So I've been looking into somewhere else to put them, and I don't know if the banner would work. But yeah, I need to put them somewhere other than the garage, the fridge out in the garage.
Yeah, that's what I did at the old house we moved from. I had mine on the cabinets above my workbench, and I tried to start peeling them off because I figured the people that are moving in didn't want them, and it just started taking the paint off the cabinets. It's like, I'm not taking them off. They'll just stay there.
They'll be the ones that remove the paint.
Right. Exactly.
Dude, what I found, if you're trying to remove stickers or decals, use a heat gun. And it'll come off. Just heat it up for 15 seconds and then peel it off. It'll come right off.
I guess I need to get a heat gun then.
Yeah. I do want to give a shout out to your neighbor, Brandon.
Oh, what's going on, Bush League?
What's up, Bush League Lawns? Thank you so much for joining. If you guys don't know, next week we're gonna have Bush League Lawns and Vince the Longineer. So shout out to both of those guys. I'm excited to get to know them a little bit more and have them on the podcast. So once again, that's Bush League Lawns and Vince the Longineer. That should be a fun episode for sure. So, Christian, what have you been doing to keep yourself busy during this time of the year?
Just a lot of work with the pandemic going on. We've had some crazy work hours going on. Like I said, doing the lawns and spending as much time as I can with the wife and my 3-year-old, and just enjoying life and enjoying the lockdown, because that's definitely helping with the traffic at nighttime.
So, you got a 3-year-old, bud? Wow, man. Mine's almost 2, and I feel for you, man.
Yeah, I started over at an old age.
Hey, man, that's all right. She keeps. It's a boy or girl?
He's a little boy.
Oh, okay. He keeps you young, man. That's how you do it, right?
Yeah, he beats me up.
That's all right. How old are your kids, Ben?
They are 4, and then I have he's 2.5, and then I have one that will be a year in February. So we have our hands full for sure, but it's always fun. If anything, kids to me, they teach, if they're teaching, they teach more. I think they teach me more than I think I'm teaching them, because they're teaching me how to be patient. And you think they're not patient when you'll start to realize you're not patient at all when you start to try to watch kids and take care of them, as you guys probably know as well. So,
do they love being with you out on the lawn?
Yeah, they come out. They have their own little Husqvarna lawnmower, weed eater, and blower. And my wife doesn't want them in the video, so I don't really. I tried that can add some complexity to recording sometimes, because they're outside playing, and I'm trying to avoid having them on the camera and those types of things. But yeah, they'll be like, "Dad, I need to go mow the lawn." I'm like, "All right, let's go mow the lawn." They'll say something like that, so it's pretty funny.
Bush League Lawn said that 3 is harder than 2. Is that true?
Yes.
They both
Please
have
don't
their.
tell me that.
So it's
Please
like
don't tell me that.
Yes. You know what? I find every age to be, so far, to be, there's some challenge. If it's not one thing, like they're going to grow out of something else, and then there's going to be the next challenge. Like, that's kind of how I've seen it. And now some of those challenges may be easier than others, but it's really a perspective thing. Some people may find that to be really one of those challenges to be not so hard, and then some find it to be a headache. So, I think
you think they're tough at 2 and 3 years old. Wait till they become 12, 13, and 14.
Yeah.
My daughter's 21, and yeah, they're a handful in the early teenagers.
So that's one thing I remember. I've heard Casey Neistat. He said he was talking about one thing with his buddy, and his friend said something like, "Man, it must be really easy to be a dad or something." And he was talking about, I think Casey Neistat's kid at that point in time was young, and he said, like, "Oh no, he's like, are you kidding? It's way easy to do it now when they're young versus when they're older, because he's like, when they're younger, they I don't know, they're much more moldable, and then when they're older, we all remember being teenagers. We all remember that we're not moldable at all. We are finding ourselves at that point, and if anything, we're going to be rebelling against anything our parents try to tell us." So, yeah, I believe you, Nate. I don't look forward to those days at all.
Especially girls. Tough.
Yeah, definitely. I remember a little known fact. I remember when I was a teenager, I was a bad kid, let me tell you. But I settled down, got a family, got married, have a kid, and things are good now. But you have a teenager as well, right, Christian?
I have a 24-year-old and a 21-year-old.
Oh, you got some adults.
And then the 3. Yeah, my oldest son, he played pro ball for a little bit, and then now he's doing the personal trainer thing. And my daughter, she just graduated college this past year, so she's as soon as this pandemic's over, she's trying to work with special needs kids.
Oh, okay.
So that's her passion.
Wow, that's awesome, bud. That's awesome. Yeah, man. So I think we're gonna wrap up the podcast pretty soon. But before we do, Nate, I want to ask you, is there any big things to watch out on your channel in 2021?
Yeah, I guess I can say it. I'm going to get to tour a facility I don't think I've seen anybody tour yet, and hopefully somebody else will be able to go with me. But I'm going to be able to, see, you know who it is.
You guys going together?
We're hoping to go visit My Soil and their laboratories.
Oh, cool.
Which I don't think
where's that
anybody's
at?
done. What's that?
Where's that at?
So they're in Walla Walla, Washington. That's kind of south of Spokane on the east side of the state. They're about 3.5-4 hours drive from me. But they recently moved into a bigger facility. So once they get all kind of settled in, we're hoping to go out there and visit their new facility.
You gonna fly out there, Christian, or are you gonna drive?
I'm gonna fly.
Oh yeah, dude, isn't it gonna be awesome when Elon Musk gets that Hyperloop going on the West Coast?
I don't like to fly, so it's gonna be an experience.
You heard about the Hyperloop, right?
I have heard about it, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like it's like an underground train that goes like 700 miles an hour. That's ridiculous. And I heard they're gonna do it from Seattle to San Diego. So
it's a lot of digging.
I know. If anyone could do it, it's him. Christian, how about you, bud? In 2021, any big things to watch out for?
I've got a few things going on. Like Nate said, we'll be touring the My Soil, and also we're going to be doing Barenbrug. We'll be touring there as well. I've got some stuff planned for this year. I don't want to let too much out. Keep the surprise there, and just go from there and try and better myself on my channel.
Nice, man. I look forward to it. And Ben, bud, I know you got a lot of things going on. How about you?
Yeah, I'm just kind of going with the flow this year. I'm focusing. There's a lot of new stuff coming down the pipe with the responsibilities that I'm going to have with yard mastery. So I'm still going to be making content as much as I can, but I'm going to really try to focus a lot of that energy toward those responsibility with Alan, because that's something I've really tried to work towards and work for. And I'm excited I can't really talk about it right now, but I'm excited to kind of get in that. And I'm hoping to maybe shed light on that at some point in time in the future on the channel. But that's kind of where a lot of my focus is going to be this year, is really just becoming more and more involved with yard mastery and still making content as much as I can, but it's not going to be a primary focus of mine. But it's still going to be something I'm going to use as an outlet and be involved with. So
nice, man. I've been trying to get a lot of stuff out of about yard mastery with you and Brett, but I'm gonna have the lawn father himself on, man, in a few weeks. So I can't wait to talk to Alan himself and see what's going on with yard mastery, man. Hopefully he doesn't give me the runaround like everybody else.
No, if there's somebody that can be, we all play it safe because we don't want to ever say something we shouldn't say, and obviously him being who he is,
snitches get stitches, right?
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
He's going to be the one that's he knows what he can and tell people. It's his business. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that'll be a fun episode.
Man, dude, that is totally awesome. Hey, everyone watching, if you guys enjoyed this live stream, please hit that like button so all of us in this cast, including Ben and Nate and Christian, can reach more people through it. We'd really appreciate it. We really appreciate everyone stopping by. I see that the comments today was like off the chain. We had some good conversation, some good networking. I see some people are thinking about taking some trips. I see Lawn and Life is in there. What's up, Lawn and Life? He's going to be on the podcast as well, so we're definitely excited to see him. But yeah, guys, this was a good time. I see everyone they're planning road trips, man, over here, dude. We got some serious business going on over here in the comments section. So that's awesome to see. And that was kind of the goal with this live stream, you know, with all the new lawn care creators. I just want you guys to come together and just kind of, you know, just kind of talk among yourselves and get to know each other a little more. So, again, I want to thank everyone that came on this podcast. I really appreciate it, guys. I do want to recognize you guys for your hard work and your efforts. Your hard work is definitely paying off. You guys definitely made a big splash in the lawn care scene this year. And I look forward to more of your content, guys. So if anybody watching this wants to check out their channels, Nate, can you tell them where to find you?
Yeah, it's just youtube.com/Pacific Northwest Lawns with an S. Or just use the search bar, it should show up.
And then Christian?
Same thing on YouTube, Socal Lawn and Order, Instagram, Socal Lawn and Order, Facebook, Socal Lawn and Order, and Twitter, Socal Lawn and Order. I'm everywhere.
Nice, man. And then Ben, can you tell them about your channel and your podcast too?
Yeah, you can just Google the worst lawn care channel ever, and mine should show up. But no, I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I haven't dabbled in the tickety talk land. I don't know if I will, but just search the Lawn Garden. You'll find me on there. And the podcast thing, if I'm on all the major podcast stuff, Average Joe. You can just search Average Joe Lawn Care Show on there, and you'll find it. But that's me, just having fun.
Awesome. Well, you know what? I gotta say that this first episode of this special has been awesome. I'm so excited to meet the other new creators and get to know them a little bit more. So if you guys want to be on the lookout for the next episode, that'll be next Saturday. We're going to have on Vince the Longineer and Brandon from Bush League Lawns. Super excited to meet those guys as well. They started this year, and they're doing really good in the lawn care community. So we're excited for that. Fellas, thank you so much for joining me today on this podcast. If you guys have any questions or concerns, you could always email me. My email is down at the bottom. Make sure you guys go subscribe to these new guys. I put links in the description if you guys want to do that. And we all look forward to seeing you guys soon. You guys been great.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thanks
guys.
for having us, George.
Thank you so much, bud.